Hello everyone, my name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Babyteeth. This is a 2019 film that came out June 19th of 2020 here in the US, so really new movie. And it's rated mature. I guess it's meant for TV if it would have a rating like that. It runs about 2 hours and it stars Eliza Scanlon, Michelle Lauders, and Toby Wallace. The description: Mila, a seriously ill teenager, falls in love with a drug dealer, Moses, her parents' worst nightmare. This is Babyteeth. Thank you everybody for watching this video. If you'd like any correspondence with me outside of YouTube, I have my Facebook page. If you want to go check that out, it's Danny's Movies and Music. And I have a lot of bonus content on there that I don't have on YouTube. So, yeah, I'd like to get to know you and we can interact that way a little bit better. This movie just comes to me as research, even though it's kind of new around here. And it's a nice movie. It is. I wasn't sure quite how to handle it after I watched it last night, and I'm kind of glad that I was able to sleep on it and do my review here the next day because this takes some talking, and I'm going to kind of keep my thoughts short, but I think there's a lot to talk about this movie. It could create some really good discussions between people. The first reason I think that is because there are so many good movies like this out there. You know, I just cannot even name all of them, but you got The Notebook and you got A Walk to Remember that are kind of classics. And then, as we come later, I own a movie called Midnight Sun. There's just all kinds of movies like this where 5 Feet Apart was a good one last year. So people are going to continuously make these kind of movies where somebody is sick. They know that their time is coming to a close. Christian Music World had a movie last year called I Still Believe. There's just all kinds of movies like this where somebody's sick. They kind of find somebody that's nice to them and they kind of fall in love, and sadly, that person dies. And it just kind of happens in every single movie. There's no giving it away. That's just what happens. And so this was surprising that it was in that category. I did not expect that. And when I see what this movie was about, I think the most worrisome character in this movie, like it is in a lot of these kind of movies, is the person that's putting themselves into the equation of the sick person. In this movie, Moses, we don't really get a lot of his story. Like, I know it's not the most primary concern, but we don't get a lot of him actually dealing drugs. And that's what the description says. He's a drug dealer. We get a lot of him coming around to Mila's school, finding her on certain days. But he does have a girlfriend, and then he's playing basketball, and then he's doing this. And, like, we don't get the full scope of his character. He's just kind of thrown into the equation as a friend, really not interested in her romantically until really late in the movie, and I don't even really buy it as a romance. So I think this movie kind of missed the gun on how these movies are really made, because every other movie like this plays up to the romance hardcore, because it's like they're the one meant for them. And, even though they're dying, they're ready to commit themselves. That's how every other movie like this works. And I just don't know why Babyteeth had to kind of waver away from that. They could have just invested in exactly how this movie is made, go by the formula. And I just wasn't buying Moses and Mila as, really romantically interested in each other, because Mila is a lot younger than him, and she's so, seeing butterflies, and he's older and on drugs. Obviously, it's implied, and it's more about drinking and smoking and disrespecting people and stuff like that for Moses more than anything. And I think that really takes away from this movie. That's my biggest problem and my biggest critique of the movie is Moses and his character and the way the movie decided to handle him. There's talk in the movie of going to a dance. That never happens. That would have been a really nice scene. There's talk of, if Moses actually likes Mila and he just says that he's not good for her. Well, that's the usual line for these kind of movies, but they didn't really play up to that. So it just seemed like Moses was a good friend to have a friend. But Mila has other friends. This movie could have been completely different, and she could have really been invested in one of her girlfriends at school because there are some nice encounters between her and the girls at school. So I think that's what takes away from this movie and why it makes it like a mediocre, kind of a lame version of a Walk to Remember, because that's the closest thing I can kind of peg it to. And the parents are really invested in their daughter, but they have some other stuff going on. And I'm kind of wondering, like, what are we doing here? Are we really focusing on the daughter being sick? Are we in total, default that she's just gonna be sick, and so we're gonna go do this? The dad and the mom's gonna be on drugs and stuff and have her stuff going on, and I just don't like how they handled it, and I think they took the focus off of what it should be and what it usually is in these movies, and that's the person that is sick. And so, as good feeling as this movie is, and as unique of a situation it offers, I don't like how they took away from the attention, and I don't really buy the romance or the relationship of any kind between Moses and Mila. So I'm gonna give Babyteeth a B. The title of the movie is kind of irrelevant. It's kind of nice that something happens in the movie with her baby teeth, but that is another reason why, like, right off the bat, I was kind of wondering what this movie was going to even be about. And so I think they could have called it something else if the movie was going to be about Mila being sick. And yeah, I can suggest a movie like this because, like, if you've watched every other movie I've mentioned, then you'll like this somewhat. But I think that's what it comes down to for me is I somewhat like this movie, and I just don't like all the flaws that it kind of had. So a B for Babyteeth. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. Enjoy your movies. Thanks.